Okay, so good morning, all of you. So in the last class, we had looked at what crossing over is, the mechanism of crossing over, specifically with respect to these four steps called synapses, where chromosomes come together, duplication of chromosome, where it becomes like a tetrad, then crossing over, which is the actual synaptonymal complex coming into place and causing the formation of chiasma, and then finally the terminalization where this synaptonymal complex moves towards the end, and then the crossing over is completed. So that is the whole mechanism of crossing over. And yeah, these were just the diagram to show you different stages in terms of how does it look like. Then we had also looked at the types of crossing over. That is single crossing over, that means only one chiasma is formed. Double crossing over was of several types where two chiasmata they are formed, which is of reciprocal double. That means two places, like the two chiasmas are formed between the same non-sister chromatids. And complementary was like more than two or three sister chromatids, they are forming two chiasma. Yeah, and the multiple one which has more than two chiasmata, and that is when this multiple crossing over happens, which is one of the rare phenomena. And we also had maybe just a brief like in terms of what are those factors with respect to the which affects the crossing over process. So that is what we had covered. Now today we'll be starting with the connection of this chromosome map, or what is also called as linkage maps of chromosomes. So we all know what a map is in general, right? So similarly, a chromosome map is also that kind of representation, a graphic representation with respect to the positions of the genes and their linkage in a particular group. Now, one fact that we already know by now in terms of history of genetics is that the chromosomes, they are lying or they are arranged in a linear fashion. That is, one after another there will be several chromosomes, and these position of genes becomes very important if we are studying of recombination or linkage or crossing over any of these three phenomena, right? So that way this graphic representation of the position of the genes is very very helpful. And of course then the linkage group, what like that means which genes are together in a particular link, whether they are forming a complete link or incomplete linkage. So that way this chromosome map is very very helpful. So in chromosome map, the linked genes, they are plotted in a specific sequence according to the according to their relative distances, and that is also called as genetic map or a linkage map. So all these three terminology, they are the same, which has linked genes plotted on a in a specific sequence with respect to their distance. It's the same thing, like if you plot a line or a graph of the distance between two cities, and then you mark all the specific points on that journey. So that is something like a chromosome map. Now this fellow Alfred, who was actually the Morgan students, Alfred Strutevant, right? Usually common name that is being used is the last name, so you might find just Strutevant uh, like as the originator of these linkage maps. So he was studying with Morgan, and he identified that the frequency of crossing over of the linked gene is directly proportional to distance between them. So this is ultimately the complete linkage and incomplete linkage, and that phenomena was observed by this Alfred Strutevant, and this was done during the inheritance studies in the Drosophila, whether the sex determination or the uh, different like phenotypic expression. During that study, this particular realization was done by this Strutevan, and he identified that a frequency of crossing over, that means the number of times a particular chromatid or two sister chromatid they cross over with each other, that is ultimately, and the kind of gamete formation that happens ultimately is directly linked to the distance between them. And the basis on which he again did this, like he concluded this statement, is obviously based on these two facts. Genes are arranged in the linear fashion, and the frequency of crossing over between two genes is directly proportional to distance between them. That is, more the distance, chances of going chances of those two genes going into the gamete formation as it is together is less. If the distance is less, then the chance of them going into the next gamete formation is higher. So closer the genes, higher the chance in of them going together, and farther the genes, lesser the chance. So that way, the crossing over is related to the what we say, the linkage. And after that, like to honor the Morgan, this terminology was given, what we know as like centimorgan currently, which is nothing but a map unit distance. Like in when you draw it something on a graph paper, you always indicate 1 centimeter is equivalent to whatever is the unit that you are using, right? 1 centimeter is equal to 25 kilometer or 25% whatsoever, right? So that way, what we know, there is a unit distance. So in this case, in case of chromosomal map, we also have this map unit distance, which is nothing but 1% crossing over between two linked genes. So when these two linked genes, they cross over, and that chance is 1%, it represents the 1 unit map distance between these two genes. That is, again, in other words, 1 map unit distance is 1% recombination between two linked genes, right? So that is what is the map unit distance. So that is the chance, how much these two linked genes, they are undergoing a recombination or crossing over process, and it is represented by centimorgan. I hope you are able to understand this terminology. What is the unit map unit distance, and the unit that is being used as such is centimorgan. So centimorgan actually equals to 1% recombination, or it also equals to 0.01 like Morgan, or 1 map unit. These are all same. If centi refers to 100, so like 1/100th of the Morgan, which is Morgan, not centimeter, and 0.01 Morgan, which is same. Now, the moment we say the 10% recombination is happening, that is nothing but a decimorgan. Again, deci refers to 1/10. So Morgan's 1/10, that is 1 Morgan's 1/10, that is 10%, which is 10 by 100. So ultimately it is decimorgan, and 100% recombination is 1 Morgan. So that is 1 Morgan map unit distance. So these are just the terminologies which we use. So again, the kind of question that is usually asked with this aspect is, the location is given, the percentage is given, and then you have been asked to calculate the map unit distance, or this conversion, like how we had in class 6 or so, that centimeter to kilometer and centimeter to meter, that type of conversion can also be asked here. Now,
1 Morgan, which is 100% recombination, that means there is no linkage at all.
No, there will be linkage, but you are not sure if that linkage is a complete linkage.
Okay.
Right? We linkage refers to now the group, right? Not just two genes. It refers to the linkage group. So within that particular group, in this case 100% recombination means there are no parental types which are forming in the gametes. All of these new gametes which are formed, they are all recombined.
So,
Okay.
so it's not possible.
Why?
So because there's a chance that recombination might not occur also, right? So
Correct. But you see this case,
then it's not 100%, right?
it is 100%. No, all four gametes which are formed, which are not at all relevant to your parent. Relevant in the sense, not at all similar to your parent. They're all different.
Yeah, but if recombination doesn't occur, there's a chance that it won't occur. So taking the probability that it doesn't occur, then it won't be 100, right?
Correct. But then if you are referring to this statement, 100% recombination can occur.
Okay.
I don't know
So
what.
it's not chance of recombination, it's how much recombination.
Correct. Chance of recombination is different. But ultimately, if you look it in a different way, it is ultimately how often with one particular chromatid or with all those tetrad combination, that is the four chromatids, how often the recombination happens. How often in the sense, whether all four are getting involved or two of them are getting involved or three of them getting that way also. Okay, so I hope that is clear. So, for example, a mutant black body and vestigial wings showed a recombination frequency of 18%. So, on a particular chromosome, there is B gene, that is for black body of the Drosophila, and there is a vestigial wing gene on the same chromosome, and the chance of their recombination is 18%. That means out of total gametes, 18% chance is that they will exchange with each other. So that means dominant allele with the other dominant allele or dominant allele with the recessive allele, depending on whatever is the chromosome that it is exchanging, or depending on what is the other allele that it is exchanging with. And same is the case with vestigial wing. So this is ultimately the same. If you know that dihybrid cross gamete formation in F1 generation, you have all the possibilities. Black body with vestigial wing, black body with long wings, or gray body with vestigial wings and gray body with long wings. So four combinations. So depending on whatever is the alleles present apart from this chromosome with the homologous pair of this chromosome, the chance of this chromosome exchanging with that other allelic chromosome, if I can say, will be 18%. While the black body and the cinnabar eye, that is another gene on the same chromosome, which is next to black body itself, showed 9% recombination frequency. So that means now just by simply looking at these numbers, you can simply imagine the B gene, that is black body gene, and the cinnabar eye. This is cinnabar eye is nothing but the red eye phenotype. Yeah. So black body and the cinnabar eye gene, these are 9 map unit away from each other, while the black body gene and the vestigial wing gene, these are 18 map unit away from each other. So this is what is given here, which means the distance between B and BG, that is vestigial wing gene, is 18 map unit, while the B and cinnabar I gene is 9 map unit. So percentage directly reflects the distance between those two genes, and that is the example of this chromosomal mapping or the map unit distance between two genes. I hope this part is clear as well. I have one small diagram, I guess. Yeah, I'll come to it. Let me just finish this. So Thomas Hunt Morgan, he actually received this Nobel Prize for establishing this chromosomal theory of heredity and is considered as father of experimental genetics. Mendel was father of genetics, and with respect to experimental genetics, Morgan is known as the father. Okay, now coming to this diagram. So if you look, distance between A and BG is 10 Morgans, right? A is here, B is, this is one chromosome. Distance between A and B is 10 Morgan. The distance between this A, B and C. A and B is again 10. A to C is 13 and B to C will be only 3. So the chance of this recombination will be 3%. The chance of A and B recombination will be 10%. The chance of A and C recombination will be 13%. Yeah, so that is the kind of, and because it is a percent, you have actually normalized it to 100, right? So that is a very obvious mathematical calculation. I assume you know.
So
Yes,
1 Morgan is like 100% recombination, right?
correct.
So like then it's like the first diagram, it's 1000% recombination, which is not possible.
No, so that 1000% is ultimately 100%. No, Pratham, percent is, you can say 1000%, you can say 2000%. Ultimately, it's the complete percentage. Out of
Like even if you see the diagrams, like B and C and D and B, they have the same chance of recombining them,
correct.
because
In the third one, C figure, right?
like in every figure, not in the first one, it doesn't have 3.
No, sorry, I didn't get it.
So like in the second, third, and the fourth figure, all the 3 have equal chance of recombining.
Correct, because they are all same chromosome. They have just added one more gene.
Sir, I understood the Morgan part of it, but I didn't understand the percentage part of it.
So let's say if the distance between A and D is 5 Morgan, the chance of these two recombine is 5%. If the distance,
So, but that's not possible. I mean, let's just say you kind of split it between A and C, A and D.
A and D.
Yeah. Or like, yeah, you split it between A and D. So these two linked genes, they are separated, but the rest are together, right?
Correct.
So how are they recombined?
Who is saying they are recombining? I'm just talking of A and D.
Yeah, but
They will remain together.
they have 100% chance of recombining.
How, where is it 100% recombine?
Well, it's the distance is 5. Well, it's written 5 Morgan, and at 1 Morgan it's 100%. So at 5 Morgan, it should also be 100%.
It's 100% recombination is Morgan. That means it's the total Morgan percentage. So that is 100 Morgan ultimately. 1% recombination will be 1 Morgan. 100% recombination will be 100 Morgan. That
So
is
1% recombination is 0.01 Morgan, right?
correct. So 100% recombination is 100 Morgan.
No. So then 100% recombination is 1 Morgan. You multiply both sides by 100, right?
1% recombination is 0.01. So I guess I am confused now. 1% recombination is.
So you multiply both sides by 100. So you take the decimal point 2 places to the right.
Recombination will be 1 Morgan, correct?
So there's 5 Morgan and 3 Morgan and figures like that. So since it cannot be more than 100%, it is 100%, like you said.
Its percentage can be normalized to above 100 and below 100, no, Pratham?
So, but like
It's a
it
simple
doesn't make sense above 100.
no? This
So,
does not mean 10 Morgan will be 1000%. It will ultimately mean with respect to the percentage, it will still remain there is this 10% chance
by 10, sir.
because it is 10 Morgan.
So, but 1 Morgan is 100%. So, well, it should also be 100%.
I don't know
Was
if
it?
you're understanding the difference between Morgan and centimorgan. Forget about the percentage.
Okay.
Centimorgan is the smaller unit. It's like
Ye-
centimeter,
Yes.
right? Morgan is like meter.
Yes.
Yeah? So the moment you say 10% of centimeter or 10% of a meter, ultimately they both are 10%, but distance wise they are different, no? Correct, no? 10% of 1 centimeter and
Yes.
10% of 1 meter will
Is
be,
different.
but then percentage wise they are same.
Yes.
Correct? Same is the case here. Depending on what is the number, you are only referring to 10 Morgan. That means the distance between these two genes is 10 Morgan units. But the
Yes.
recombination, because they are not completely linked, because the Morgan is quite long distance relatively. Now you go back to that centimeter meter analogy, right? So 10 meter is obviously much longer distance on a particular chromosome. So here in that case, 10 Morgan is much longer distance. So the chance of recombination of them going in a particular gamete is only 10%.
So, but yeah, that's the part. So,
Use whether centimorgan or Morgan, that is still a percentage that is given with them.
yeah, but like, sir, like at 1 Morgan distance, they said it's 100%. So at 10 Morgan distance, like the law that he said, the probability of recombining increases with distance.
Correct.
So, like even if it doesn't increase at 100%, it can't increase more. So it should stay 100%. Like, because if the distance was 1 Morgan, then it would be 100%. And well, it can't decrease with distance, right?
Actually, you are right. But let me think about it. So I guess what could be my own confusion is, no, wait, but it can't be true that way. If I logical, like if what you think is true, what my other thought process is, like if let's say 1 Morgan is 100% recombination and 10 Morgans is still 100% recombination. That is all.
So, but like if it was actually 100% recombination, they should have taken the whole chromosomal length as 1 Morgan.
No,
Because that would be a more accurate measure, right?
ideally, yes. But then I don't think so. It should change with respect, because not always you have kind of 100 units on a particular chromosome. Chromosome can be long or short. It just they calculate the percentage of particular gene. Based on that, they give map unit to the chromosome, and that way calculate.
Yeah. So, well, Morgan itself is a percentage, right? So it's not really a unit like that.
Correct. So that's normalized to 100. So irrespective of even there are no 100 genes in one particular chromosome, it will still always be normalized to 100.
Yeah. So like one more thing, like even if the percentages aren't there, this whole gene, if it doesn't recombine, then does the Morgan take that into account or it doesn't?
But let's say if this particular chromosome splits here somewhere, right?
Yes.
That is still a recombination, no?
Okay, for the whole
yeah, it's even if it splits here, it is still a recombination because this part is getting exchanged or this part is getting exchanged.
So at max it can only have 50% recombination, not more than that.
How come?
So because 60 towards one side is actually 40.
No, Pratham.
So you, okay, it's like this. a very small part here, like towards the end,
Let's say
if that gets recombined, you can't say there's 90% recombination.
no,
Because so see, like if that small part goes up or this 90 wala chunk goes up,
no,
it will
no.
be the same thing. Like like you see the gametes will be the same.
So even if a small portion is getting recombined, and let's say there is one gene in the last portion, right, which is getting exchanged with the other like chromatid or chromosome, right? So that is still a recombination.
Yes, that is a recombination. But let's just say that's 1% recombination.
Okay.
Like how much it happens.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's a 1% recombination, and well, that would be the same, like effectively that would be the same as that one gene remains there, but this whole other part of the chromosome goes up. Like it would effectively be the same.
I am not really sure of this now, because see,
So, and like in 100% recombination, this whole gene needs to go, right?
no, 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 no. 100% recombination means a chance of two particular genes going into separate chromosome or exchanging with other alleles is 100%. That is what is that percentage referring to.
So it's chance. I thought it wasn't chance, but the amount it recombines.
It's not the amount, Pratham. It's not the 100% of chromosome that is getting recombined. How it will get recombined? It can always, so for example, if I go back to this diagram. So according to you, let's assume this is 25, this is middle portion 50, and this is 25 again, right? So here you would assume 50% recombination has happened, right?
Yes.
But that is not the case. Here, what it means is only with respect to A gene and with respect to B gene, their recombination has happened 100%. Because if you see capital A and capital A, here capital A is exchanged, now it's coming with small a, right?
Yes.
That is the 100% for A with respect to small b, which is again another 100% for B. So with, if you calculate for A with respect to B, if they are at all linked gene, they have transformed into their recessive allele to 100% extent. And this way it is like more likely that they are incompletely linked. Or if you calculate from this one, they will be completely linked. That is, if like small a and small b, if they are coming from this third chromosome, which is ideally like this here, right, that will be 100%. In this case it will be for b.
So if you go to the third diagram, it says 0% recombination.
Third diagram, this one.
No, sir, the third one, the one above that. Yeah, and if you see the second line on the right side.
That is recombination frequency they are calculating, right?
Okay, so it's not Morgan. That's different. So yeah, so like what I thought was that recombination frequency is the chance, whereas Morgan is the amount.
No, no, no. Both is the now again I lost track. What was I saying? Both of these things, they are the percent of chance or percent of recombination. Both ways, it's the same, that they can go together or not together. They can get exchanged with their respective alleles. That is
So,
the
but you can never have 100% chance, right? Because if the chromosome doesn't go recombination at all, like all four of them just stay as they are.
is what is complete linkage, no, Pratham? If the chromosome, sorry, if the chromosome, let's say there is E chromosome, which is very, very close to this C, right?
Yes.
There is a chance that they will always be together,
Yes.
right? So that is what is 100% recombination, no?
No, 100% recombination is a chance that they'll recombine, right? Not be together.
Sorry, yeah, the other way.
Yes, but like what I'm saying is then if Morgan is actually chance and not amount, then you can never have 100% chance that they'll recombine, right? Because there might be a chance that they won't recombine.
Now let's take the extreme of the example.
Yes.
Rarely it happens that the genes are not getting crossed over, especially in humans. They in meiosis, always they get crossover. So that means 100% recombination.
So, but like last time we discussed that it's not compulsory, right?
So, no, Pratham, that is not compulsory if we talk of the whole genome from all the living species, right? And
Okay.
undergo meiosis process. But if we talk of human, during gamete formation, we always have certain recombination happen. You can see it from the variation itself, no? Have you seen any two random people apart from twins? I'm saying. Have you?
But I'm talking about one like set of chromosomes. Like though they don't have to recombine. Otherwise, the other chromosomes they are like many more, right? 22 more pairs. So they can recombine.
Yeah. This does not mean all 22 they have to recombine, or all 23 they have to recombine for that matter.
Yes. Like we are talking about a specific chromosome, right? If like a specific pair of chromosomes, if they recombine or not.
Right.
So well, they might not, right?
Correct. That is true. But then that is when I'm saying we are talking of complete meiosis. The chance of recombination in meiosis, let's say out of 23 chromosome or out of 23 pair of chromosome, 20 gets recombined or even 5 gets recombined, right?
Okay.
That is still a recombination.
Yes, but not with respect to that chromosome.
Correct. So the chromosomes which are not getting recombined, we are not talking of the chromosomal mapping at all there. The chromosomal mapping is with respect to gene, and that is the calculation of the distance is done with the factor of Morgan, right? Now, in those chromosomes which are not crossed over or not recombined during that particular meiosis, does not mean we cannot calculate the Morgan or centimorgan distance between them. We can still calculate because in some other meiotic division, in some other generation, they will undergo what we call as this recombination. In just one particular time, they don't. But at
But
some
like
other they will.
so they would say that there's 100% chance that there is recombination in this. So well, the distance is fixed, right? Like between B and C is 3 Morgan. So whatever happens, they have to recombine.
Correct.
Well, but if there is a chance that the whole chromosome itself in meiosis won't undergo recombination, then well, they shouldn't have put it this way.
I don't know why not. Because this, see, we already know now whole of the genome sequence, right? And this has been kind of verified with those, like there are a little gaps otherwise, even in this chromosomal mapping, because of the addition, deletion that keeps on happening in the genome. But otherwise, this has been like kind of the trend that people are following with respect to the distance between two genes.
Oh, so like one gap that they're showing is actually 1 Morgan.
Sorry, one gap?
Yeah. So, and well, sir, like 1 Morgan is the percentage of like percentage chance of recombining between two linked genes, right?
Correct.
So if it kind of separates between B and C, there is no recombination between the linked genes A and B.
A and B. Correct.
So, but there's still a 100% chance.
Like when they will recombine, they will have 10% chance. When these will recombine, they will have 5% chance. When these will recombine, they will have 3% chance out of total recombination. That is what it is. I don't know. Does that help? No.
Well, so this the system looks a bit flawed.
No, but like actually, this is rightly depicted here. Maybe let me find out some other way to explain these things. Yeah, and we can come back to it again in the next class. Let's leave it at this time point here itself. Yeah, so we'll talk of again the what is the combination, what does this percentage refer to, and the Morgan and Centimorgan concept, and of course the distance.
So, like as per syllabus, do we really need to know about this percentage and all that?
Yeah.
And how could they make it so confusing?
No, and also with competitive exams, there are quite a few questions like they ask, especially because this is a mathematical part, right? In biology, that so they do ask one or two questions based on this. So that's when I'm also putting it here in little more detail. Okay, but yeah, just leave it here. We tomorrow we can discuss it. Tomorrow I will look for some other explanation, and then we can have that discussion again. As of now, I will move forward. So the importance of crossing, I hope that is fine. Huh? So importance of crossing over. Now, obviously, we know all these things, but just a quick revision in terms of summary of that importance. It provides the exact location and the sequence of the gene in a linkage group or a chromosome, right? So now this goes back to the same fact. If we know the percentage of the crossing over or recombination, we ultimately know the exact location because the distance between two genes can be established, and of course then the sequence helps in postulating the results of the dihybrid cross and trihybrid cross. Now like if you remember that particular discussion where the actual dihybrid cross ratio was giving 1:1:1:1:1, but when we observed it phenotypically, it was different, like that 45:1 whatever, that per 15:1:1:7, that was the ratio in one of the case, right? Or even 50% chance of having only two parental combination. So that way it will help in like what is the crossing over that is happening, or what is recombination that is happening, or what kind of linkage is present within these two particular genes. It will help in postulating what are the results of the dihybrid and trihybrid cross. So that way, this crossing over is very, very important. It also confirms that genes are located on a chromosome in a linear order. So obviously, like the distance will tell us that which gene is located where, and ultimately it is a linear order. Then only we can calculate the distance that way. Indicate the strength of linkage between two genes and the chances of crossing over between them. Again, this is the same fact, whether the linkage is complete and or incomplete, that can be established with this crossing over depending on the gene location. And it helps in knowing the loss or addition of the genes either by deletion or duplication in a chromosome. And this is again another phenomena, like if the original distance is changed by the addition or duplication in particular chromosome, that will obviously will come to know due to the percentage of crossing over being changed and so on. So that these are the different uses, or what we say importance of the crossing over process as such. Okay, I guess I can just quickly start this topic and maybe introduce this little mechanism. I'm going to skip some of the or maybe just rush through these different topics because those we have already studied. So sex in animal is like, if you want a definition, it's the hereditary difference between male and female individuals of the same species. This we know what sex is, but definition wise you will need to remember at least these keywords from this definition. It behaves like a Mendelian factor, right? Again, this was the old concept, but then that is still being carried forward, or you can say it behaves like a genes. So the genes determining the sex, they are located on a special pair of chromosome, what we call as sex chromosome. This again you know very well. And the all the other genes, they are called as autosomes, which carry the genes for the body character, or what are also called as somatic characters, and the general physiological like characters. So again refers to the like the size of the organ, or the type of the cells and so on, or the metabolic events, the amount of insulin being produced. So all these like physiological characters, they are also present on the autosomes, which is represented by A, letter A. And the sex chromosome, which are also called as allosomes, these carry genes that determine the sex. And they are,
So,
yeah.
like the sex chromosomes, like X and Y, they are completely different, or they have some percentage similarity.
No, they are completely different.
Okay, so you can say that
That all chromosomes are different. No, Pratham, 1 to 23, they are all different.
no, like in males and females specifically.
If you talk of X chromosome and Y chromosome, yes, they are different. But in female, when you have two X chromosome, they will be same X. That way. But X and Y, they are surely very, very different. You probably, I don't know if you know this fact. Y chromosome is very short. X chromosome is very long.
Oh
Right?
yeah, like I've seen the drawing. They
Ah,
draw it like that.
that way, obviously the number of genes which are present on Y chromosome will be totally different, and number of chromosomes which are present on X chromosome will also be very different. Plus the kind of the function that those genes regulate is again a different thing. So that way the X and Y chromosome, they are totally different.
So can you say that like males and females have 1/23% difference?
Males and female.
Not percent, like
Yeah.
it's a 4.3% different.
I don't know the mathematical calculation there. I'm just trying to think rather. But in a way, you can say that, because obviously
Okay.
that is very much visible in your body characteristics as well, right? There are quite a lot of functions which are similar, or rather same, in males and female. For example, metabolism, or protein synthesis, or neurotransmission, or heart or muscle activity.
So all the differences that are there only come from this one chromosome.
Exactly. And which are very few, like obviously the reproductive structures, the gametogenesis part, what else? The secondary sexual characteristic and hormonal differences. Am I missing something? I guess that's it.
So
Correct?
there are a lot, right? Like body structure, secondary sexual characters.
Yeah, exactly. So those are already included there, right? Secondary sexual character, if I can say so.
So isn't that like quite a lot of the body? I mean, shouldn't it be more than just 4.3%?
No, then maybe then you don't know how many functions are there, right? If I enlist, let's say for simple glycolysis, which you have seen, right? How many? There were 10 steps in glycolysis, and each of the step had one particular enzyme, right? Each of that enzyme will be encoded by one particular gene, right? Now you imagine how many such processes like glycolysis happens throughout the body, how many enzymes will be synthesized within your body, and then how much similarity will be there. And I'm just talking of one particular aspect, that is metabolism.
No, but sir, for most of these enzymes that are being created,
Hmm?
there's only one type of enzyme that can do that, right?
There is only one type of.
There's only one type of enzyme that can do that particular function.
Correct.
Yeah, so there's no dominant or recessive. There's only that one thing.
Correct. No, but what I am saying is there is still those many genes are present which are similar compared to the number of genes what Pratham is trying to calculate, right? Pratham wants to say, and correct me, Pratham, if I am wrong. Pratham, you want to say that the amount of differences is more in terms of male and female than similarity. On
No, sir. I just wanted to find out how much difference is there. So it seems as 4.3 if you only take the last chromosome into consideration.
not really, not really. There is quite a lot in terms
So
of similarities, far more. See again,
no. The difference is 4.3%. If you only take the last chromosome, I mean that's what I did. So the rest are the same more or less, right?
maybe what you did probably is that 1 divided by 23,
Into 100.
taking into consideration the number of genes which are there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Is obvious.
different chromosomes will have different genes.
Yeah, correct.
So I'll have to take the percentage of genes from total genes.
Yeah, that will give you a direct number of what is the differences and what are the similarities.
So, well, I wasn't going to calculate the exact figure. I just wanted to know kind of,
But I guess
that kind of way, how much difference is there. That's all.
come to percentage wise, yeah, it should be somewhere around that then. 3 to 4% of the differences, and the rest will be the similarity.
So crossing over doesn't happen for the X and Y chromosomes, right?
It does happen.
But how?
Uh,
Because then
So yeah, that leads to those defects now, like those problems that people
yeah, but
are
it's not
producing.
supposed to happen. Biologically, it's not supposed to happen.
Not really. It does happen, and it has to happen.
Akshay, remember that day we went to Sir's house regarding like LGBTQ and all? I think this is a result of that itself.
And also, I don't know if I discussed in your class or class 10, I was discussing. Oh, it was class 10. So it will come to us later what is called as sex determining region, which is also called as SRY gene within the Y chromosome, right? And then if it is exchanged with X chromosome, then it will develop genetically a female, but phenotypically will be a male, because that SRY from male due to crossing over has been transferred to the X chromosome. Are you getting what I said? Or maybe let's leave this part. We will actually talk about it when we talk of the sex determination in human, because there is
So, like one more question, like in relation to what Akshay said, the last chromosome, like the X and the Y chromosome,
you muted yourself. Oh.
the X and the Y chromosome, there is some percentage that they're going to recombine, and some percentage that they're not. Is that the same as the other chromosome, or is that like purposefully less?
No, the size is slightly different, so it will be slightly less because suppose that particular point on the synaptonumal complex, okay, it is outside the Y chromosome part, then they won't cross over there, no?
So, Pratham, I hope you got that. Yeah,
No, sir. Like in a normal chromosome, let's just say in an autosomal chromosome, what's the percentage that they're going to recombine? Is it like 80% or is it like 2%? Because if it's like 80%, then okay, like what Akshay said, so it'll be a bit less for like for sex chromosomes, because one of them is smaller. So let it be like 60% then.
I'm not too sure of the answer in terms of percentage.
So,
And
sir, if that happens, then 60% of the people will not be normal or straight, I can say, yeah.
may not be so true, but yeah, in a way, yes.
So that way, majority of the human beings on Earth are not normal.
No, that is what I'm saying. Like, if you go by genetics, yes, it would be true, but that's not direct dictator of what the actual condition is.
So we can say that in the X and Y chromosome, there is relatively less chance of crossing over happening compared to the rest of the thing, because majority of the human beings on Earth are normal.
That's what you think, Akshay.
Okay, I guess we stop here. Otherwise, this discussion will go on. And again, like, I'm not aware of exactly how much percentage and so it's best not to comment on that. Yeah. Okay. Any other question? Mansi, Pranavi, or Manskit? Any questions? If not, then we can stop here. It's already 10. I guess let's just stop here. If you have questions, we can continue in the next class. And two things we'll do. Anyway, we are going to discuss next class about the sex determination part. So there it will come this whole of the crossing over, especially of the X and Y gene. And second thing, with respect to that Morgan, centimorgan thing, I'll check it and I'll get back to you. Yeah. So bye people. Thank you very much and have a nice day.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Bye, sir. Thank you.